Hello YouTube. Titans Return. Now, every man and his dog has been doing a Titans Return review since the line came out, but I personally didn't feel the need to do them because, well, let's face it, I'm just a little fish in a big pond, and if I did a Titans Return review, it'd just get lost in the ether and no one would be bothered to watch it. But just recently, I bought that Zhanjiang M01 Mechanic Master, that knockoff Megatron gunformer thing, and the seller was also doing a couple of other figures, including a certain Titans Return Legends figure that I've kind of got an interest in. So went ahead and bought it, and it's arrived, and this is the nature of today's review. But before I get into that, a little bit of a backstory as regards to the G1 character. When I was a kid back in the mid-80s, I had a bunch of transforming toys, many of which were not official Transformers. I had some Diaclones and some sort of, I suppose you could say, KOs and spurious bots. But the few official Transformers I had, I could only afford the mini Autobots. And my recollection of exactly which bots I had back then is a bit vague, but I do remember having this guy, G1 Autobot Brawn. Now, I kind of like this character, kind of like the toy. It transforms from like an early Series 2 Land Rover into this robot, and his aesthetic is quite unusual because obviously he's got the head sculpt like a Cylon warrior, and he's got these shiny chrome grabby robot claw hands similar to like a sci-fi robot from the 1950s. And there was I used to collect the G1 comics, and there was a particular story in the G1 comics, I think it was called The Enemy Within, whereby you had Starscream basically had a falling out with Megatron and went rogue and split from the Decepticons, and then in the Autobot camp, again, Brawn had a bit of a disagreement with the Autobots, and he sort of went off on his own, and these two bots were out on their own to a bit, and stuff happened, but I can't remember much about the storyline, but it was drawn in a style of the G1 toys rather than the cartoon characters from the TV show. It was quite an unusual and interesting story, but I do remember it, and obviously Brawn was one of the key characters in that particular story, and he was quite good. So yeah, got the G1, and obviously Titans Return comes around, and they did a Titan Master Brawn, which, to be honest, I couldn't be bothered about, because when it comes to Titan Masters, I mean, some of them look kind of interesting, and only the ones that have the vehicle modes or the alt modes which look which work or look kind of interesting do I feel the need to get them. But for the most part, I'm just giving them a pass. But they said they were doing Brawn. Well, they did Brawn on the Wave 2 Titan Master, and nah, didn't float my boat. But then, was it Wave 4? They announced we're doing Brawn as a Legends figure, and I saw the pictures of it, and I thought, yep, I'm definitely on board with that, and I'm going to get one of those. So recently got that KO Megatron Gunbot thing off that Chinese seller, and he also happened to be selling this guy, Titans Return Legends Class Brawn, and here he is, and he's a chunky 4x4 vehicle. He's got a lot of detailing cues that was on the G1, like he's got the wheel on the roof. He's got the silver grill with the yellow sort of bumper pads on the front. And they didn't paint the inside of the wheels, which is a bit of a shame. Obviously, he's got these silver detail down the sides, and obviously some hollowness at the back because that's where the leg pivots are. And he also has the shield piece which pegs it onto the top, so you can remove it. It's the only accessory it comes with, so you can take that off, and it gives him kind of like a fastback look. Now, something else the vehicle mode does have is it has an opening cockpit, because it's part of the Titan Master's line, so he has a Titan Master gimmick. So you can open that, and there's a cockpit. So you get your Titan Master. Now, you have to have it bolt upright like that. And then there's a little there's a little hole in the bottom for the peg in the bottom of the legs. So you slot it in. Now you've got to make sure that the head is pulled forward a little bit, so then you can shut the cockpit down. The reason being, if you open the cockpit back up and then angle the character back, you can't shut it because something hits. You've got this peg cylinder here that hits the head of the Titan Master in the seat, so you have to lean it forward a little bit before you can shut the cockpit flush. So there's that, and it sits in there nice and solid, but obviously just needed him there for the demonstration. So there it is. So transforming him into robot mode, very simple. You take the back of the vehicle, unfold it, split the legs, then you take the arms and you bring them down on these ball jointed links attached to the shoulders. Then you just twist the arms forward, and there we have Titans Return Brawn Legends class in his robot mode, and he's a good looking bot. Looks every inch like, you know, what you'd expect Brawn to look like. Bright yellow chest, dark green everywhere else, and he's got silver forearms. So have a quick comparison with the G1. Obviously the G1 had the chrome, you know, pincer arms, but they've just painted his forearms in silver to do that. You look on the back, obviously he's got this this black piece on the bonnet, which he's also got, and you can see you've got the tyre on the back of the G1 Brawn. Now you've got this pegging port in the back, and if you take the shield, it will peg into the back there, and it gives him his signature tyre on the back of his robot mode. So they've got that angle covered. A lot of the details on the chest very reminiscent of the original. He's got the this piece sticking up at the back. He's got you know, all the bits there. Autobot symbol in the middle. Got like the washboard chest. So yeah, it's very much Brawn. Does have a proper head sculpt. It's more in kin to the cartoon Brawn rather than the G1 toy Brawn. One thing I will say, his head is it's difficult to get, if you've got, you know, chubby fingers, it's difficult to get it in there to turn it. It is kind of tight, but it does turn. And you see you can turn it. But it can be difficult to get in there to turn it round because access is limited. And the only accessory it came with was this this piece here, which obviously you need to remove it from there. And it has these 5mm ports on his side of his arms, so he can put it on as a shield on the side of his arm, or he can have it on his arm like that. And I suppose if you lift it up, he's got these bits in the end. I suppose it could be some kind of gun. But the only guns that Brawn needs are these ones. Yes, because Brawn's a strong man. He's a brawler. He's, you know, he's about, you know, fisticuffs and feats of strength rather than, you know, machine guns and sniper rifles. And that does come across with this guy because he's kind of hench. He's got nice broad shoulders, nice chunky fists. Definitely comes across. Articulation wise, he's got ball jointed shoulders. The shoulders are on these like links here that go into the top of his chest. Arm goes all the way round. He has ball jointed elbows, which means he's got a bicep swivel, and then you can bend his arm for just over 90 degrees. I will say that the ball joint on this arm, on his right arm, is a bit loose compared to the other one, but you know, loose ball joints. They seem to be a common thing on Transformers these days. Now he has hip ball joints as well, so you can go over the horizontal with a split. Does have 5 swivels, and because the leg collapses inside itself, the knee will go back as far as you like. Doesn't have any ankle tilts, no waist joint, but you know, pretty well appointed articulation. I will say that he can be kind of back heavy, and because he's, you know, like Skull Cruncher, he's got these very sort of limited heel spurs. Unless he's on a hard flat surface, he struggles to stand up. I mean, trying to get him to pose for the thumbnail shot of this video was a right game. He does come with a card. It's got some very nice artwork of Brawn. He's like pointing at someone and holding up a very heavy object as if he's going to throw it at them. And then obviously he's got his tech spec. Now they've given him strength of a 9, speed of a 4, intelligence of a 3, and firepower of a 1. But like I said, he's more about punching things and shooting things. But then again, there we go. He's a decent little figure. Like I said, I managed to pick him up from that seller I bought that KO Megatron from, that I did in my last review, and I only paid £9 for him, which is, I was quite happy to pay that for a Legends figure. So yeah, that's been my review of Titans Return, Legends Class, Brawn. He's great. If you like Brawn, get one. So yeah, that's been me. Got some more KTRT bots. I've got a bit of a backlog. I've got a couple of Carbot minis, and still haven't done the review on that Byclon's combiner. But hey ho, things are moving on. I might see if I can get another couple of reviews knocked out this weekend, perhaps. So that's been from me to you. Ta-da. Bye-bye.